Bible speaks of two births, one death. But one death doesn't mean when you depart this world now, that is death, because you can continue in a world that also dies. So the death, when Christ died for us, that was the death of which he spoke in the Bible. There's only one death. It's God's death. So Christ took us all within his body, and Christ fell for us. So one being died, that's the death. The little departure from here is like someone leaving the stage. And you'll find that he goes through this, but he comes back at another scene. That's restoration. But death is simply the one death, and the only one who really died was the Lord Jesus Christ. He died. Restoration. It's not a resurrection, but I will speak to those that are restored because I love them, but they're not resurrected. I meet people night after night who are restored. I see my brother who died 2 years ago, my brother Lawrence. He's a young man now. He died, he was painfully ill, and he looked old. He's only a year older than I am. But he looked much older because he was in such pain for the last year and a half or 2 years of his life. But Lawrence, I mean, he was in his 20s, early 20s. My mother, when she died at 61, was painfully ill and so very old looking. When she died, I was sitting at home in New York City. At that moment, I felt so drowsy I could not restrain the impulse to close my eyes. So I shut my eyes just because I couldn't hold them open. As I did, Mother appeared before me, this blonde, blue-eyed beauty of about 20 years of age, brushing her hair, sitting, or rather, under an arbor of beautiful flowers. She was passionately fond of flowers, had the most glorious rose bushes. I can see her now morning after morning with these two boys that were her little gardeners and giving them orders how what to do, especially with the roses. And she would graft her roses and do all kinds of things. She loved them. And I can see her in the garden now with her what she called a parasol. She wouldn't expose herself to the sun as I do. I'm a sun fiend, and she loved to keep her lovely coconut skin. And she has a lovely light skin and blue eyes and blonde hair. She didn't want it disfigured with the tropical sun. When we, the boys, you couldn't restrain us. We were out in the sea, battered, coming in sunburnt. And to this day, in my 60s, I am still, in a way, a worshiper of the sun. I love the sun. But here was Mother. She came at that very moment. She was so alive and marvelous. I sat right down and I wrote my sister Daphne. And I told her that Mother has recovered. She was so beautiful and so young. And Daphne sent me a wire saying Mother has passed away. Then when she wrote me the letter a week later to give me the details of Mother's passage, it coincided with the hour that I saw in New York City, 2,000 miles away. So I know from experience that nothing died. But Mother wasn't resurrected. She was restored. And they're married there too, may I tell you. And they work there too. And they're slaves there too. And they build their little castles on sand there as they do with hair. Emerson right now is restored as a young man with the same drive. He left his $700 million here last month. Couldn't take it with him, but he's going to rebuild it on the same sand. Until that moment in time when he awakes and the whole is his.